Hi, and welcome to the Argenta Branch Library. I'm Julie, and I work at the Argenta Branch Library down on Main Street, and we are part of the Lehman Library System. And one of the programs that we have always had here at Argenta for the adults for about the last 5 years is we've had Card Shop with Sari. And Sari comes in and she teaches a variety of card making, paper crafts, gift giving ideas, and just a lot of fun, neat things. And our classes were always once a month. Obviously, we haven't had those classes here in the library, so we are now introducing it to the virtual world of card making. So I'm going to introduce you to Sari in just a moment. The craft kits will be available. You can call the Argenta Library and the number will be posted below, and you can reserve a kit. The kit will have a lot of the paper supplies, the ribbons, and basically just the instructions, so that if for some reason you don't get a kit, because they are while supplies last, everything she's going to show you can be, you probably have it at your home. You can go to the local Dollar Tree, you can go to Hobby Lobby, you can go to any of the craft stores, and she's basically going to teach you the concept. So maybe you don't have orange ribbon, maybe you have black ribbon, still the same thing. It's going to make the most beautiful card you've ever made. So welcome to Card Shop with Sari, and because we are socially distanced, I'm going to put my mask on. I'm going to move out of the way, and Sari is going to come up and teach you some concepts of card making. So enjoy.
Hello, I'm Sari, and this is Card Shop with Sari, being presented completely thanks to Julie and the Argenta Branch Library. I am very excited to be having the opportunity to at last get to be sharing cards again, and we have some really fun projects we're going to be doing. This class is called Spooky Alterations, and we're going to be doing some Halloween themed projects, but like Julie said, you can use these same concepts for any card throughout the year. We will be using some basic supplies. We have permanent markers, we have water-based markers, colored pencils, some glitter pens, glitter markers, and glitter glue. You don't have to have all of these things. Everything that I'm using has been from the Dollar Tree. I would suggest, if you're going to get some glitter glue, to get the clear glitter glue. It is absolutely my favorite, and it works on all kinds of things. Some basic glue stick is nice to have. Some wet glue, white glue, school glue is just fine. We'll be using some foam tape and some glue dots. Other than that, you want a pair of scissors. Any kind is good. A pair of tweezers. Now mine are very fine. I don't know if you can see them very well, but you'll see them in a close-up shot. And I did find at Hobby Lobby in the baking section a package of 3 different kinds of tweezers, all with very fine points that are very good price with your 40% off coupon. I would recommend going there and getting them. A metal ruler is extremely helpful. Again, these are all from the Dollar Tree. And your library card has a new use now because we're going to use it as a scraper. All right, well, let's get started on our projects. Okay. One of the things that you will need to understand is that the size of the cards that we'll be making is called an A2, and that is 1/4 of a sheet of paper. So this is a regular sheet of computer paper. It's folded in half and folded in half again, and there is your A2 card size. If you don't have a paper cutter, that's fine. Go ahead and take a piece of paper, fold it in half. You can lay it down on your cardstock, and you can mark with a pencil at each end. Draw your line, take your scissors, cut your piece of paper in half. There you have 2 cards out of 1 piece of cardstock. One of the things we're going to do in this class is we're going to cut our cardstock another direction as well. So we're going to cut a cardstock in half so that it goes this way. So you'll take it again the same way, lay it down, pencil mark, cut it, and then fold it in half. Then you've got a card that will open this way or a card that opens this way. And we will be showing that a little bit later, but you don't have to have a fancy paper cutter. One of the other things that I'm going to show you to do is to make a border around Well, in this plate, it's going to be a piece of a book page, and I'm very sorry for those of you who have trouble using book pages in your crafts, but we're going to do that. And to make a black border, it's best if you take a piece of waste cardstock. I happen to use the backing from the foam tape, and just draw against it, and that will make a nice, clear, sharp border. I've done that with a black marker. The other thing I do with my black marker is once I have cut something, there's a slight white edge that I'm sure the camera cannot pick up, but your eyeballs will. And I take my black marker and I just run along the edge. So I make the white into black. And that's something you'll do all around all four corners. You can do that on all of the pieces that you cut. Okay, this first card that we're going to do is very simple, and it's something that you could easily do at home if you don't have the kit. We have a cute little witch's hat on here, and our saying is best witches. Now when it comes to the kit, it's not going to be colored, so you'll be doing your own coloring, which is why you can easily do this at home. You can go into your word processing program and you can find a font that you like, you can print out whatever you want, and you can color it at home. The background paper is easy to find a background paper that you like. You could use gift wrap, you can use scrapbook paper. Look around and see what you have at home. If you have paper that you like but it's too thin, just take a glue stick and glue it onto another piece of paper, let that dry, and then use it like cardstock. So now, let's get busy. The first card we're going to do is Best Witches. Your kit will have this sheet. You will cut the parts out. You can color the witches however you like. I will tell you that when you glue it onto your card front, please make sure to put it down low enough that when you put the hat on here, it doesn't stick off the top, because that won't fit in your envelope. Now I altered my witch hat. It started out looking like this, and I believe you can see that it has some white stitching around the edge, and I didn't want that. So I took my black marker and I just covered up this white stitching. It's very easy to do. Now I'm using a permanent marker here. You might have to do it twice, and it does take a little while to dry. That left a mark, so set it off to the side to dry before you do anything else. There's the stitching that's gone. Now I was going to put some glitter nail polish on my buckle and make it all beautiful, but I discovered that the nail polish dissolved the glue, and so as you can see, I no longer have a buckle. That's okay. Rhinestones to the rescue. So I took a few rhinestones and put it on my hat band and decorated my cute little hat. And that's all there is to this card. So the next card we're going to do, I think, is absolutely adorable. It's this little witch, and I put on boogie woogie dancing shoes because I just thought her shoes were so cute. Now in the kit you will get a sheet that has your template for a skirt, her legs, here's the skirt fabric, here's your background, here's your sentiment, and here is for her leggings. When you are cutting your pattern pieces out, cut around the black lines, so the black lines are still there, and then turn over your paper and you will put your patterns on the back side. This is what I used. It's different than what you have in your kit. Trace around it with your pencil and then cut it out, and you won't even have to erase your pencil marks that way. So that's how you get the skirt and the legs. Obviously it's a simple shape. If you don't have the kit, you can easily draw this and do it at home with whatever you'd like. Now, the class is called Spooky Alterations because we are altering our embellishments. I didn't like how bright orange this shoe was. I didn't think it really went so gorgeous with my witch. It was a little too distracting. So again, I took my black marker, and I believe you can see the stitching that's all around that shoe, and I know you can see the yellow buckle and the bright orange. So I took my black marker and I covered up the stitching. I covered up the buckle. Now on the buckle, I did have to go over it a couple times. I let it dry and I came back again. But I also went ahead and covered up this orange, just where my boot is. And I believe you can see the difference there. I'm doing this rather quickly because I don't think you want to watch me cover the entire boot with black ink on the video. But the other piece I did was come around all the way on the edge and really get everything that is bright orange turned to black. And it's okay if it takes you a couple of times. As you can see, I got black on my finger, not a big deal. Permanent marker will come off with a little bit of alcohol, if you can find alcohol. Okay, that's a joke. Now I want to take this bright fluorescent orange and dull it down a little bit, so I'm going to take a little bit of my red glitter marker, and the glitter marker does not slide on this felt, but you can dot, 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 and you will see the change. And I did this a couple of times so that I made my witch's socks to go with her skirt just a little bit better. And of course, I added the rhinestone. You can do your embellishment however you want to. I will share with you that while I was making my first sample, it didn't come out very well. And I kept messing with my shoes and messing with my shoes. And I did discover that if all else fails, and you don't like what you've done, you just take your black marker and you go over everything with the black marker. So I covered it all up with the black marker. I let that dry. Now I won't be able to do this on camera because I don't have time to let that dry, but you have to let your black marker dry first. And then I came back with my red marker and I made it shiny again. And that's how I ended up getting this lovely kind of a copper bronze sock. And I think that looks just fine. So that is the spooky alteration we have for this card. All you will need to do is cut out your pieces, figure out your alignment, where you want everything to go. Your shoes are stickers, so just peel off the back. I added a little bit of shading around the edge. You can do that if you want to, and of course you put your boogie woogie dancing shoes wherever you want them. And she is ready to go. All right, moving on to our next card. This is a very simple card, very bright as you can see, and I especially like it because it uses paint chips. Now, what is a paint chip? Well, you go to the paint section of your local hardware store or your superstore, and they have samples of different colors of paint you can buy. I like the ones that are all solids, so I chose a solid black for my background, and then these three lovely Halloween colors. Now obviously if you're doing this at other times of the year, you get whatever colors work for you. The one important factor is to make sure that whatever you've chosen for your background, your other pieces, your other paint chip pieces will go across it and overlap. They need to extend off of the edge, and I'll explain why as we're doing it. You will cut your background paint chip to the size that you need, and I'll show this on the back here. If I line this up in the corner, I have a wider margin here than I have here. I need those margins to be the same, so I need to cut this piece down so that my margin here and my margin here are the same. It happens to be that this is 1 inch. That's very convenient. So I cut it off. I have a 1 inch border here and here. That will make it so that when I put my panel on my card and I center it, I have an even border all the way around. So here's my back piece that I'm using. And what you do is you take your scissors, or if you have a paper trimmer, that's fine, and you make all kinds of strips. Now remember, you're going to make them crosswise, so you're going to cut And I'm going to just use this ruler to show you how you would cut. You're going to cut along here, and then you're going to make another cut, and you're going to cut here and here, and you just keep doing this and making all kinds of assorted strips until you have pieces like that. And then when you have all of your pieces, you get out your glue stick and you put glue on the back of a piece. And the first one you can either line up on the top, which is what I did. So you'll glue that down. I'm not gluing this down because it's just for demonstration purposes. Then the next one, put glue on the back and then lay it down. And I left a little gap in between mine because I wanted the black to show through. And then you keep doing this and you alternate your pieces until you have the entire black panel covered. You can slide your piece sideways to make it larger or smaller and go all the way down. Let it dry, then come back, and when you come back, you will then cut off those excess edges and have a lovely panel that you will glue onto your card. Now let's talk just a moment about the background. The background in the kit comes already made, but this is something you can so easily make at home on your word processor. You pick some words that are applicable, you type them up in a font that you like. I would do a dark gray, not a black. You print it off. They've taken the word Halloween and done it in orange and all caps. Let's see if you can see this on the camera. But that's something you could very, very easily do at home. Now, this boo, it's another simple sentiment. You could cut this out of anything. We happen to have felt letters. I'm sorry, it's not letters, it's already put together. It says boo, and we're going to find a bat in another one of our cards. It does not have adhesive on the back of it, and we have raised it up a little bit so that it pops off the front of your card just to add an extra dimension. To do that, you're going to use these foam tape squares, and they're too big for fitting behind the boo, so you'll take your scissors and just cut them to the size that you need. And it just happens that these two, when I cut them into 6, were absolutely perfect. And I think that's it for this card. Oh, except to show you, this card opens, it's a tint card. So when we cut it, this is how we cut that long piece of paper. The big piece of paper is cut lengthwise and then folded in half like that card. And there you have it. This next card, I kind of forewarned you at the beginning, some of you who object to using book pages in your arts and crafts are going to have to suffer quite a bit through this project. I really like it, however. We're going to make this cute little bat. It's easy to do at home, and that's why I was using a book page, because we all have a page of a book that it just is not usable for any other purpose. And so I've given you a template here that gives you the size. And for those of you who do not have the kit, it's 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 square. And then you also have a moon here, which is 2.5 inches. And I used the bottom of a spray can and just cut mine out. This is another use for paint chips. But here's something else we've done on this card is we've stacked them. So I've drawn it multiple times. If you don't like that color or you want to do some shading, markers, water-based markers, will rub with your finger very easily and shade on a paint chip. So this started that color, and I was just playing with it, and you can see the difference already. Now, I'm also going to show you where you can get some inspiration. If you'll notice, on this box, there is a white center, there's lighter color, there's a lot of shading that is shown on this box. And it kind of mimics how you would do a moon. So look around your house for some ideas on how to do shading. This also has a little bit of stitching hand drawn around the edge. All of the printing is done by hand, and there's even these cute little banners in different sizes throughout the box that you could cut apart and use as a template. So look through your trash and see what you can find. Now, if you'll notice on this card, there's a black border, and I talked about how to make these borders by using a piece of, well, again, it's trash, recycling. So you take an edge of a piece of paperboard, take your black marker, and you go around the edge of the book page after you've cut it into that 3 3/4 inch square. It just makes it pop on the back of your card, or on the front of your card, I'm sorry, a little bit more. Now we're going to work on this area that we've put the ribbon. There is no ribbon on the inside. I did not wrap it around because it's a glitter ribbon. I didn't want to wrap it around and have it mess up the inside of my card. So what we're going to do is you take your black strip and you take a glue dot. Now if you have the kit, you will be receiving a couple of glue dots in your kit, and this is what they're for. So you put a glue dot on the back side of your little strip, and you peel off the backing paper. Take your ribbon, and you want to position your ribbon very carefully in the center of your black strip. Bring it around to the front. Don't pull too tightly. You don't want to make it go like this. So just pull it around. You're going to do the same thing at the other end. Take your other glue dot and put it at the other end. Now, if you don't have glue dots, if you did not get a kit, not a problem. You would take your black strip to your glue stick and then wipe the end of your black strip on the glue stick. And all it means is you'll have to hold it there for just a minute until this dries before you move on to the next step. Now I have all of this excess. I want that excess. Cut it off. And then you're going to come around front, and this is where you tie your bow. And it's just a simple, I said a bow, but it's just a knot to look like a bow. I can't stand tying bows on my cards. Now at this point, you can slide it wherever you want on your card before you tighten it down. You'll tighten it down. You'll glue it on the front of your card. And after you've glued everything on here, come back and snip the ends at an angle so they look very cute. That's all there is to it. I used a glue stick. Sorry about my arms getting in the way there. I just put glue stick on the black back of this. It's not a sticker, it's just a piece of felt. And I put my glue stick on here very heavily and then placed it on the card. You can place yours wherever you want that you think it looks good. Okay, that's all there is for that card. Now we're going to move on to our last card, which is this cute pumpkin. As you can see, there are some similarities between our pumpkin card and our bat card. The bat card is made to open this direction, and our pumpkin card, as you see, it opens the same way, only we've turned it into the landscape orientation so that it opens this way. It uses the same strip and the same ribbon technique. It uses a square, only this time we're doing a different embellishment. Now again, this is something that you could make at home. This is our text background we talked about doing in word processing, and you can trace, or if you're capable of sketching, you just sketch an image that you like. Then we've taken colored pencils, and again, like we were talking about with our moon, and we demonstrated with the wheat thins box, there's some shading. I always start with my lightest color first. So I would lay down a little bit of my light color, then I'm going to go and add a little bit of my orange. I'm going to start in my light color, and then I'm going to come back with my light color and just blend everything together. And that's how you can do your shading. Now on this newsprint, it's not going to work very well, and I'm not going to demonstrate the whole thing, it takes too long, but you get the concept. This already has a border around it, This is the piece that you will receive in your kit. So you have two options. If you don't like your first one, or if you do, you can do a second one. But if you don't like your first one, you have another chance. You'll cut around the edges and again take the black marker like I showed you at the beginning, and after you've cut out, you'll just run it along like this and give it a nice black edge.
Thanks, Sari, for coming and showing us some great Halloween cards. We look forward to some classes in the future. Maybe some Christmas cards, maybe some Valentine cards, some of those bigger holidays coming up. So again, I'm Julie with the Argenta Branch Library, and if you would like to reserve a kit, you just need to call the Argenta Branch Library. They will reserve you a kit. You will also set up an appointment time to come and pick up your kit through our curbside service, because you can't come into the library yet. So we thank you again for watching, and thanks again for Sari for coming, and we'll see you soon.